what's going on, everybody? This is Terrell Turner from the Business Talk Library, and you know, typically you would get a normal, a different vibe from me about different episodes, but in all transparency, like literally less than 10 minutes ago, I just got the word of a friend, a person that I call a friend, someone that we've had on the show before. Um, Unfortunately, we just got the news that they had passed. And I wanted to take a moment to just talk about a few things that she said and things that she did that were very impactful. And then I also want to replay that interview as a tribute to her because I think there's so many things that she said, that she unpacked, that she really laid out for us that I think are a huge testament to the way that she lived her life. You know, now when I reached out to her, I remember, back when I had first started my show and I first started doing interviews, and I had, trying to find different guests for the show, and my wife had come across her profile because she was like, "Hey, I saw this lady. She's the founder of a hair care product called Thank God It's Natural, and her name is Christia Donaldson. So you should definitely reach out to her. And I think she'd be a great guest on the show." And I didn't think much about it. Now, me being a guy, I'm like, okay, I really don't know too much about natural hair, but I was like, I'll give it a shot. So I reached out to her, and you know, she reached back and she said, "Hey, it sounds like a great thing. Let's connect and let's make it happen." And one of the things that I did not realize at the time is the magnitude of how big her business was. And I say that not necessarily just say, okay, she's just special because her business was big, but it's just the amount of things that she had to manage and the amount of things that she was juggling and she was working through. I didn't realize, that I didn't realize the magnitude of how big this was. Now, I will say when I sat down, her and I met and we talked about the interview and stuff, just the amount of wisdom that she shared about just business and just, the journey and life in general, I think was impactful because, I'm not going to recap everything in the interview because like I said, we're going to play the interview so you guys can see a recap of, or so you can see the actual interview where I sat down and I talked with her. But some of the things that about her that really stood out to me. One of the big things was, she had followed a path and that many people thought was like, "Hey, you have made it." I mean, she, studied, went to school, she went to Harvard, she graduated from Harvard Law. And just the fact of graduating from Harvard Law, I mean, it is not an easy program to graduate. It's not an easy program to get into, let alone be a program to graduate from, because not everybody who goes to law school actually finishes. And then not everybody who goes to Harvard Law actually finishes. And so, to me, that said something about her is that there's a level of work ethic in her because just to make it through law school, I mean, just to survive at the end, I mean, is a lot. And, that said a lot about her work ethic and her ability to stick with it. And she went into practicing law, and there were some things that she learned about herself and some self-discovery that she had in that journey. And, she shared a lot about the things that she learned about herself, the things that she learned about the opportunity, the things she learned about, the people around her, and how to approach the opportunity. And there was something that she did where she really took advantage of an opportunity to really discover herself, discover something that was very valuable to her. And as she began to document she didn't realize the magnitude that it would have on others, to where, she ended up, documenting her journey, her struggle when it came down to, being a Black female and with a Harvard Law degree and working in corporate law. And one of the big struggles she had was about, with her hair and, her natural hair, and wanting how she wanted to wear it when, and how she wanted to approach that. And so there's something that she did in documenting her journey, and it turned into something massive to where, that began the genesis for leading to her creating a massive brand, to creating a product that was a product that is sold in over 5,000 stores throughout the US, where her products are sold on the shelves. I mean, you can find the product online, and there are just different outlets where you can find her amazing product. And what I really was impressed was the journey that she talked about, because one of the things she talked about is, with her battle with breast cancer. And at the time of the interview, she said, what, to be honest with you, some days are good, some days are not. And what the perspective that I think she impressed upon me, and that definitely stays with me, is where she talked about how, what, it's not about dwelling on, what you can't control. It's some days are good, some days are not, but it's about getting up and just living that day to the best of your ability, like really maximizing that day. Whether it's a great day where she felt great, or whether it was a day where she felt some challenges physically and in her health wise, she said, no matter what, living that day to the fullest. And, there's some conversations that her and I were able to have, off camera, as well as we talk through different things. And, I think Christia is definitely an amazing lady that will be tremendously missed. I am grateful and appreciative for the opportunity to have met her. And I am also grateful and appreciative to the opportunity to be able to share her with you. And so I want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching the Business Talk Library. And also thank you for allowing me to share Christia and the amazing lady and the amazing life that she lived. And she shares a little bit on our show, and I want to share it with you guys. So thanks for tuning in. Hi, I'm Terrell Turner, the host of the Business Talk Library, and today I have another special guest on. And this special guest, I think, has so many aspects to her story, from her background to the business that she started, even just fighting through a life-threatening situation that I'll let her tell you what that was. So welcome to the show, Christia.
Hi, Terrell. How are you today?
I am great. I'm very glad to have you on the show, because definitely your profile stood out to my wife. And as soon as she sent it to me and I looked at it, I was like, I got to have her on the show. So can you tell us a little bit about your background before you started your business?
Absolutely. So long story short, I graduated from Harvard College and Harvard Law School in the early 2000s. So I won't date myself, but that was almost 20 years ago. And when I was graduating and starting, my first law firm career here in the city of Chicago, I felt an extreme amount of pressure to wear my hair straight, because back then, a lot of the advice and guidance, Black folks were getting going into corporate America is, you want to look like them as much as you can. You want to talk like them. You want to sound like them. You don't want to stand out for any reason. And at that time, I was in the midst of going natural. And so I opted to wear a wig to keep my hair looking, as uncontroversial as possible. And it turns out at the end of that first year on the job, my boss basically gave me this poor review and told me I did not have what it took to be successful from there. And I left that job never wanting to apologize for who I was as a Black woman again, and setting out on this mission to see if I could not only write a book to help Black women figure out how to wear their hair the way it came out of their head, but also creating products such as TGIM, which many people know today, that would help them to not only feel confident in their curls, but be comfortable putting products on their skin that they felt were safe.
Gotcha. Now, what was that journey like? And I guess, just really expressing yourself in the book. Like, what was that? Was it therapeutic, or was it tough, or how'd you navigate that process?
So this is actually, I wrote two books. The first one was about hair. The second one was about breast cancer. And the first book was very much, I wouldn't say it was as therapeutic. It was more so I was up against a challenge, and I thought it was going to be more of a pamphlet that would help other women who were facing the same challenge. So I was like, yeah, I'll write this 20-page guide and give them advice on how to take care of their hair. And it ended up being like a 350-page manual. and went on to become called the Natural Hair Bible by Essence Magazine. Now, the second book I wrote was when I got breast cancer for the first time. And that book was really therapeutic for me because I had spent so many years just putting so much pressure on myself, working so hard, running this race, and for what and why. I didn't know why I was doing it. A lot of it had to do with the pressure that came with growing up in a family of people that was so successful. But that one was very therapeutic. And I wrote that, like I said, for my own healing process to realize it's not about being successful, it's about living life on your own terms.
Wow. Now, at what point in, I guess you say, your career or your business journey did, you have the battle with breast cancer?
Oh my goodness. It has been a roller coaster, if you will, but an awesome one. I know that sounds crazy, but I tell people 2015 was the best year of my life and the worst year of my life. And March 1st of 2015, I found out we were in Target, if you will. That was a huge accomplishment
Wow.
for us. Launched in 250 stores nationwide. 9 months later, at the age of 36, I was diagnosed with breast cancer for the
Wow.
first time. So you were like, well, when did this happen? Well, to be honest, it has been like an ongoing roller coaster, if you will, over the years. But surprisingly, like, I'm just like, I look good, I'm thriving, I'm healthy. My doctors are like, you're kind of a miracle, thanks to God. Like, it doesn't matter what the test results say or what anything says. It's like you're walking around, you're kicking ass, you're saying your prayers, and everything looks amazing. And so it's just one of those things. I think it's been a blessing for me because it glorifies what God has done in my life, and for people to see that it doesn't matter what you're going through, like, it's all about perspective.
Wow, I think that is amazing. I mean, because there are a lot of people who face different challenges, and I mean, it just pretty much they would have just said, "All right, I'm done with the business. I'm just going to focus on this." But the fact that you're able to, like I said, is continue working through that roller coaster and just making the most of it says a whole lot about you.
No, I think it does. And I think for me personally, like, you would think, okay, how does this person go on and then up and down on this roller coaster in this journey? And it's because it's like, I love what I do. Like, I love waking up. I love, getting up every morning, thanking God for like the blessings that I'm here, that I have an amazing team, that the company is growing. It's like, I feel no matter what, I have so much to live for. And you look at people, and I hate to say this, like Kobe Bryant had an amazing career, snapped out of the blue, out of nowhere. And I'm here still kicking and whatever, no regrets, no anything. And so life, we don't know when any of our time is coming. And the point is, you just got to live every day and just consider every day a blessing. And I think because of my battle and journey over the years, I like literally live every day to the fullest.
Wow, I think that is awesome. So tell us a little bit about, what that journey was like leading up to, having your product in Target, and just, what were the early days like of your business?
Oh, honey, the early days and the late days and the middle days, they all the same. Crazy. But the early days, I think I was fooled into believing that because it was the beginning, that this was the hard part and it's only going to get easier, if you will. So I'm thinking, we got in Target. Woo, that's over. Great. I'm just like, no, it only gets crazier. So going into Target was hard because one of the financing, it's a very expensive endeavor to get in. Two, you have to have the team to help you make sure you're shipping on time, getting products into the store, making sure you stay on shelf. A lot of people think, oh, I got into Target, I've made it. Well, no, you got a lot of hard work because Target puts you there, but it's really your job to keep yourself there with the marketing, the product development, the innovation, the social media and all of that. And so that was kind of what the issue was getting into the store back then. But today, we've kind of overcome some of those hurdles, but we still face a lot of them. Again, same thing with other issues. It's a nonstop roller coaster every day. It's not like, oh, I'm done with, getting in a Target. It's like, no, the challenges in the mountains only get bigger and bigger in business. And you just have to learn to persevere every single day and be creative and flexible and innovative about getting things done.
Absolutely. So, what were some of the, or I guess say, one or two of the challenges that you kind of faced in that, from a business perspective, and was like, hey, we have to figure this out if we're going to move forward?
I think one of the biggest challenges you face is the growth, if you will. So, like I said, we started in 250 stores, which is great. And then you get into 500 stores, which is even better. But all the money you made off of the 250 stores really isn't anything, because now you got to take that money and put it into the 500 doors. So as you continue to grow and scale up, you have to reinvest that money in the business. So it always feels, to be honest, to business owners that are watching, it's like you're never making any money, because you're always recycling that dollar to grow. So like I said, if we want to stay at the same size, we have so much more money in the bank. But if you're always trying to get to that next level, more products, more shelf space, more SKUs, more marketing, more customers, or all the profit from last year, you got to put it back into the business to take it to the next level. So I think that was one of the things that surprised me. And the second thing is, how amazing my team ceases to, surprise me, because none of us know what we're doing. Half the time, none of us have been formally trained in any of these activities, and yet we get it done. And so TGIN is very much a place where you got to make it happen. Like, there is no playbook, there is no manual, there's no blueprint. You can't go on Google and find a lot of the information that we do every day. And so you just have to get down and dirty and try to figure it out.
And I think that's something that becomes very common when I talk to, so many different entrepreneurs on the show, and to where people that think they want to become an entrepreneur believe that, hey, there's going to be this playbook, or there's going to be this strategy. I'm going to meet with this one person, they're going to give me the strategy, and I'm going to go and I'm just going to execute. And it's like, it's not going to be a straight line like that. It's going to be, there's going to be a lot you're going to have to figure out in the process.
Absolutely. You're constantly figuring things out. Even like right now, I sent someone an email about demand planning, which is like, when you're in one store, it's not hard to really forecast. It's because it's one store. When you're in like meaning one retail outlet, but when you're in like 10 retail outlets and some, health food stores and natural stores and other types of stores, demand planning can be really tricky. And it's funny, I was talking to a guy, and he was a demand planner for a large major company here in the United States. And he was like, even after doing it for 25 years, they still don't have it figured out. And so even large companies, don't be fooled. They are always trying to figure things out, make things up, make things happen. And so don't think, again, like you said, there's a blueprint or one way of doing things. It's true even for larger businesses as well.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that, because I remember when I worked for General Electric and worked for other Fortune 500 companies, and I worked with the supplier team, and a lot of times we were trying to figure out, okay, how do we forecast, the production so we can meet the demand of our customers? And it's like, when you have that many, it's like everyone behaves differently. You got to take in all these factors. So yeah, I definitely can understand that.
And with that, it's like, things are changing every single day. Like you said, you have so many different customers. Everybody has different demands. Everyone has different requirements. Things change every single day, and no 2 days are the same.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your products. Now, what are the products that are kind of like, your top sellers, or the ones that people are extremely excited about?
So our top sellers are basically 3 collections. The first one is the Moist collection, which is focused on moisturized and manageable hair. The second one is our Repair collection, which is what it basically speaks to, which is healthy hair that has needed a kind of comeback from like color treatment, heat damage, protective styling, that type of thing. And the third collection is our lightweight collection, Curls and Roses. And again, very obvious title, lightweight Curls and Roses, for someone who isn't looking for heavier items that kind of weigh their hair down. All the products are now pretty much found in major retail, but some of our top retail partners are Ulta, Target, and Walmart, and Sally Beauty.
Awesome. So now, if someone wanted to follow, to visit your website, or they want to follow you on social media to see how the journey is going, where can they find you?
So you can find me personally on Instagram at TGINCEO. The company is found on Instagram at TGI Natural. Our website is Thank God It's Natural. And then finally, my second book, This Is Only a Test, What Breast Cancer Taught Me About Faith, Love, Hair, and Business, is now on Amazon, Kindle, and Audible.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, before we wrap up, one of the questions that I like to ask, all of the guests that come on is, when you think about, your journey as an entrepreneur and just navigating that, what are 2 lessons that you've kind of learned in your journey that you say, what, other entrepreneurs should definitely grasp these lessons or learn them at some point if they want to be successful?
I think the first one is you got to slow down to speed up because, like I said, when I got into Target that first time, worked so hard because I thought this is the finish line. Yeah! Oh, honey, no. And so I wish I would have known that this is a very long game and you got to slow down and speed up. Take your time. Just, take one day at a time and know that there is no finish line. Like the finish line keeps moving. And the second thing is team is so important. Team and chemistry within your organization. At TGIN, we're very clear on who does well here because we make sure we have a set of values that we lay out and share with people throughout the hiring process. But team is so critical to the success of any organization. And I would tell people, don't skip or scrimp on the B's and the C's. Look for A talent because that will really take your organization to the next level. And that's why, like, I love a good A. I love a good A. A B, but I love a good A. A C, it's not going to work. You're going to be out of here in 60 to 90 days. And we may be cool. And you might like me and I might like you. But, like, you know what? The business comes first. So, yeah.
I love the honest and the real advice because, one of those big things that, that I looked at when starting this show was, how do you have real conversations about, entrepreneurship and business ownership? Because I think a lot of times, a lot of people don't really hear the real side of what it's like. And then they start a business and then they either don't become successful because there's things they're not doing, or when they start seeing like, this is what it takes to be successful, I don't know if I really want to do this because I wasn't prepared. So I love the honesty.
Always.
Absolutely. Well, Christia, thank you so much for coming on to the show, sharing your journey and also just sharing your wisdom and your insight. We'll definitely keep an eye on what's going on with you and the continual success of your business.
Terrell, thank you so much for having me. I love what you're doing and good luck and congratulations with everything.
If you'd like to see more of the Business Talk Library, be sure to watch us every week on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m.